Hello, Watershed Wednesdays. My name is Lynn Zonge. I'm a Fluvial Geomorphologist with Resource Concepts here in Carson City. Today I'm going to give a presentation regarding using web map tools to help protect water quality in our watershed. For this presentation, I'll be using a project in Washoe County, source water and watershed protection web map that we made for a recent project. Then we'll start to talk about the Carson River and some opportunities in Douglas County. Finally, we'll look at next steps. First, a little background. I'm going to be talking about the NDEP joint program where Kim Rigdon with the Source Water Protection Program and Birgit Wittergren with the Non-Point Source Program came together and helped the community to develop a web-based plan that provides both educational and technical information. This is available at washoecountycleanwater.org, which I will go to next. Here is the washoecountycleanwater.org website that we created. Quite a bit of information is available on this website, but I want to direct your attention to the Web Map tool in the upper right corner. We'll click on it. It brings you to this opening page to the web tool for source water and watershed protection. You click Agree, and here we are. It opens up with 3 operational layers open: source water protection areas, critical source water protection areas, and watersheds tributary to the Truckee River. I'll talk about source water protection areas a little later, but for now, let's look at the watersheds. Really quickly, I'd just like to break down what a Huck 12 watershed is. They are defined by the USGS. They are the smallest watershed you can download off of the internet. Huck stands for Hydrologic Unit Code. 12 means there's 12 numbers in the code. For instance, the watershed for the Truckee River at Reno is 1034800. It has 8 numbers. It is a Huck 8 watershed. This Peavine Creek watershed that I have highlighted here has 12 numbers. Thus, it's a Huck 12 watershed. First, I want to show what happens when you click on a watershed, a Huck 12 watershed. Pretty cool, comes up with information about the watershed, and when you click on more information, information will come up about that watershed, which we call a watershed profile. The watershed profiles are just chock full of all kinds of useful information. These are important because they contain most of the information that is required by the Source Water Protection Program, as well as the 319 program for watershed-based plans. The watershed profiles contain information about the water quality standards and beneficial uses, water quality concerns, strategies to protect and improve water quality, the stakeholders, existing plans, as well as proposed projects. The strategies to protect and improve water quality are particularly important because projects that are in line with the strategies to protect and improve water quality are eligible to receive technical assistance from the NDEP Source Water Protection Program. All of the watershed descriptions have a really nice summary table right at the beginning, so you can get the information on the watershed quite quickly, and then dive in deeper if you need additional details. I would like to point out that information is also available via the groundwater basins. If you're looking to summarize information via the groundwater basin, you can click on the groundwater basin. More information option comes up. You click on that, and all of the watersheds in that groundwater basin will come up in a PDF format for you to use. Let's get familiar with other parts of the web map. Up here in the upper right-hand corner, there's this box of squares that you click on. Different base maps are available that you could pull underneath any of these layers. I like to use imagery or topographic. World-based map is also great because it has such a very plain background. It makes it easy for presentations. The other item in the upper right-hand corner is the layer list. You can see right now we have 3 of the layers turned on, but there's several others that we can look at. We'll go through those. The other nifty layers that we included in this map are major streams, the Truckee River, and irrigation ditches. Here they are with their labels turned on. Super handy when you're trying to communicate locations such as where's Hunter Creek, or where's the Lake Ditch, or where's Thomas Creek. While we're here, I'd like to show you these 3 dots on the right-hand side. they open up these things that you can do. I just turned off the labels to clean up the map a little bit. You can disable the pop-ups, change the transparency, move them up and down in the list, view them in an attribute table, as well as see the description of what that data layer is. We also downloaded the Washoe County parcels, and in particular, we separated out the parcels with septic systems, as well as the parcels with wells. This has been very interesting for a lot of the stakeholders to see, particularly when you see how well the parcels with septic systems and wells line up with each other, and how it all lines up with source water protection areas. Let's take a closer look at what those are. Source water protection areas are broad areas important for recharge. They surround the municipal wellheads. They also surround the perennial streams, including the Truckee River. The critical source water protection areas represent about the 20-year capture zone for municipal wells, as well as springs. In addition, it covers 300 feet either side of the Truckee River and 150 feet either side of the perennial streams. These were identified by the stakeholders in this area as being important for protection for drinking water sources. A few other nifty things you can do with this web map. You can type in your address in this upper corner. It'll zoom to the parcel, and parcel information from the Washoe County Assessor's Office will pop up. Then it's fun to turn on the source water protection areas and see where the parcel is relative to those. You can also click on the source water protection areas, and they're named by the municipal well. For instance, this wellhead protection area, source water protection area, is the St. James II well managed by Tumwa. This long, narrow source water protection area down here is along Browns Creek. Now I'd like to talk about the project profiles, which are available by clicking the bar up at the top of the web map. Similar to the watershed description, the project profiles are also PDF documents that are clickable. You can click on any of these and bring up a description of a project for the watershed. For instance, this fabulous description for creek stabilization on Chalk Creek. This brief project description provides the key information needed regarding the project. It also includes some lovely photos of some of the issues. The project profiles are important because they provide the key information required in the EPA 9 critical elements. If you've ever filled out a 319 grant application from the NDEP, you know that this information is also required in those grant applications. Another nice button up at the top is the program overview. This fabulous 4-page document is, again, chock full of information with clickable links to take you to the source information, including a nice set of reference information. Another lovely link up at the top of the web map is the Washoe County Quick Maps. As with many agencies, the Washoe County GIS Department has some fantastic information available on their website. Another link we put up at the top of the web map is the link to the web maps from the NDEP. For our use, I really like looking at the Nevada 2016-18 Integrated Report. This beautiful web map has all of the information that you need regarding water quality and beneficial uses for streams and lakes in Nevada. And that, my friends, wraps up the example that I pulled from the WashoueCountyCleanWater.org website. I hope that you will go there and check it out. Before I leave Washoe County completely, I want to mention that behind the scenes, we had an internal source water protection viewer that we used. It was password protected just for the stakeholders and for our use in meetings and in analyses. We put everything under the sun onto these maps. We could click them off, click them on, zoom in, zoom out, very helpful in our meetings as well as for our analyses. This was a great way for us to share information with our stakeholders virtually, as well as to put presentations together. And we still have this password protected viewer for when we need to do additional analyses. Now I'm going to bring the presentation closer to home. Let's take a look at Douglas County. The Community Wellhead Protection Plan for Public Water Systems in Douglas County was completed only about 9 years ago. This is a really fabulous document, and a lot of hard work went into it by a huge variety of stakeholders. Many of the stakeholders that helped to create the plan are no longer in the positions that they held 9 years ago. So when the NDEP asked us to help update the plan, at least the contacts for the plan, we thought, well, let's create an online viewer so we can get familiar with the area. So that's what we did. I'm going to show you a little sneak preview of the internal web viewer that we've created. Here are the groundwater basins overlaid by the Huck 12 sub-watersheds. Let's look at that a little closer. Here we have all of the Huck 12 watersheds in Douglas County. These Huck 12 watersheds, highlighted in light blue, are a focus area for the NDEP 319 program, as well as the NRCS priority watersheds. Zooming in closer, you can see that the priority watersheds also host the majority of the wellhead protection areas in the Minden-Gardnerville area. You can see the source water protection areas have different color zones. The red zone is the 2-year capture zone, the orange zone is the 5-year capture zone, and the yellow area is a 10-year capture zone for the various wells. Here I've turned on the flow lines, which are basically the drainages from the USGS databases. It's interesting to see the flow lines related to the watersheds, related to the source water protection areas. And then for extra super fun, we can turn on the FEMA 100-year flood zones and see how that all looks in the community. One of my personal favorites is the geologic units and the geologic faults. Here you can see the wellheads and their capture zones within the geologic units. Not surprisingly, most of the wells are within alluvium. Okay, I'm a geologist and hydrologist. I love this kind of thing. And it's very useful in the analyses. Let's hop over and take a closer look at one of my favorite areas in the county, the Genoa area. We uploaded the assessor's database so that you can click on a parcel and see who owns it. And of course, then we want to start overlaying data, such as the wellhead protection areas. We can pull in the streams. And of course, I always want to see where the floodplain is in Carson Valley because it's so huge. And then there's the Huck 12 watersheds. Looky, the town of Genoa is in the town of Genoa Huck 12 watershed. The town of Gardnerville is in the town of Gardnerville Huck 12 watershed. Blockless Slough, Lower West Fork. And while we're at it, we just brought in the Bureau of Water Quality Planning Assess Streams database and overlaid them on here too, so we can see which streams are assessed. Well, we went through quite a bit of information in a short amount of time. However, I think it was a little more fun to look at maps on the screen rather than scrolling through documents. So one of the main points is that we are going to be trying to move away from static paper documents and more toward the dynamic, easily updatable, online web tool maps and documents. The web map can be updated with clicks of buttons rather than taking things to the printer. It can be shared electronically and looked at all different scales with all kinds of useful information. for a variety of different analyses. And you don't have to be a GIS specialist in order to use these tools. We think that the combination of a well thought out web page plus the web map tool and information can be a great way to convey complex information to a variety of stakeholders. We have provided the same PDF documents on the web map tool as we have on the web page for easy access. We also added some educational information on the web page as well. I hope you found this presentation informative and helpful. Please check out washoecountycleanwater.org and see how you like it. If you have any suggestions for improvement, we'd love to hear it. Thank you for your time.